Jesse James, a name synonymous with the American Wild West, continues to fascinate and divide opinion over a century after his death. Was he a ruthless outlaw or a folk hero? His life story, a blend of fact and fiction, reflects the turbulent period of post-Civil War America. This essay aims to separate the man from the myth, exploring his upbringing, criminal activities, and enduring legacy. By examining the historical context and debunking common misconceptions, we can gain a clearer understanding of the real Jesse James. Jesse James was born in Missouri in 1847. His family sympathized with the Confederacy during the Civil War. This tumultuous period had a profound impact on young Jesse, shaping his worldview and actions. While his exploits have been romanticized, it is crucial to acknowledge the brutality and criminality of his actions. Only then can we begin to unravel the complex legacy of this infamous outlaw. Jesse Woodson James was born into a farming family in Clay County, Missouri, in 1847. His family owned slaves and supported the Southern cause. Missouri, a border state, experienced intense conflict and division during the Civil War. This volatile atmosphere deeply influenced Jesse and his brother Frank. Their father, a Baptist minister, died when Jesse was young. Their mother remarried twice, adding further complexity to their childhood. The James family, like many in Missouri, faced violence and instability due to their Confederate sympathies. These formative years, marked by loss, division, and the chaos of war, undoubtedly shaped Jesse's path. The romanticized image of a Robin Hood-like figure often overshadows this harsh reality. However, understanding Jesse's early life is crucial to comprehending his later choices. As the Civil War engulfed Missouri, Jesse and Frank James joined pro-Confederate guerrilla groups. These units, often operating outside the bounds of traditional warfare, engaged in raids, ambushes, and targeted violence against Union supporters. Jesse, barely a teenager, was thrust into a brutal and unforgiving world. He witnessed and participated in acts that left a lasting mark on his psyche. Under the leadership of William Quantrill and later Bloody Bill Anderson, Jesse learned the art of guerrilla warfare. He honed his skills as a horseman and marksman, becoming a formidable fighter. However, this period also exposed him to extreme violence and a disregard for the law. The guerrilla war blurred the lines between right and wrong, creating a moral grey area that Jesse would inhabit for years to come. Following the Confederate defeat, Missouri remained a volatile and dangerous place. Former guerrillas, including Jesse and Frank James, struggled to reintegrate into a society grappling with the war's aftermath. Many, like the James brothers, felt disenfranchised and bitter. They perceived the Reconstruction policies imposed on the South as unjust and oppressive. This resentment, coupled with their wartime experiences, fueled their descent into criminality. The James brothers, along with other former guerrillas, formed the core of what would become the notorious James Younger Gang. They targeted banks, trains, and stagecoaches, often justifying their actions as resistance against Northern aggression. However, their robberies were brutal and left a trail of innocent victims in their wake. Section 5, Robbery Spree, Targets and Tactics. The James Younger Gang terrorized the Midwest for over a decade, becoming infamous for their daring robberies and violent methods. They meticulously planned their heists, often targeting institutions they perceived as symbols of Northern economic power. Banks, seen as repositories of wealth amassed through Reconstruction policies, were frequent targets. Train robberies, often depicted in romanticized accounts, were particularly brazen. The gang would derail trains or ambush them at remote locations, holding passengers and crew at gunpoint while they looted express cars. Their tactics, while audacious, were undeniably ruthless. They often resorted to violence, leaving behind a trail of dead and wounded. Their reputation for brutality instilled fear throughout the region, making them both feared and infamous figures. Section 6. Myths and misconceptions: Robin Hood or ruthless outlaw. The legend of Jesse James often portrays him as a Robin Hood-like figure, stealing from the rich and giving to the poor. However, there is no historical evidence to support this claim. While some romanticized accounts depict him as a folk hero, the reality is far more complex. Jesse James was a product of his time. Shaped by the brutality of war and the tumultuous post-war period, his actions, while fueled by resentment and a sense of injustice, were undeniably criminal. He and his gang terrorized civilians, stole for personal gain, and killed without hesitation. The Robin Hood myth, perpetuated by dime novels and sensationalized accounts, served to obscure the true nature of his crimes. It is essential to separate the romanticized image from the historical reality. Section 7. Public perception, fear, fascination, and the press. Jesse James and his gang captured the public imagination, becoming both objects of fear and fascination. Newspapers, eager for sensational stories, played a significant role in shaping his public persona. They often exaggerated his exploits, portraying him as a daring outlaw and master criminal. This sensationalized coverage contributed to his notoriety and helped to solidify his legendary status. Some viewed him as a symbol of resistance against perceived northern oppression, a sentiment fueled by lingering resentment over the Civil War and Reconstruction. Others saw him as a dangerous criminal who threatened the social order. This duality of perception contributed to the enduring fascination with Jesse James. He became a blank slate onto which people projected their own beliefs and anxieties about the changing face of America. Section 8. The end of the line, betrayal and death. By the late 1870s, the law was closing in on Jesse James. The Pinkerton Detective Agency, hired by express companies and railroads, relentlessly pursued the gang. Increased pressure and dwindling options led to paranoia and mistrust within the gang's ranks. In 1881, Jesse James's life of crime came to an abrupt and ignominious end. He was shot and killed by Robert Ford, a member of his own gang, who betrayed him for reward money. The circumstances of his death, shot in the back while unarmed, added another layer of complexity to his legend. It shattered the image of the invincible outlaw, revealing a vulnerability that further fueled public fascination. Section 9. Jesse James in popular culture, enduring legacy. Jesse James's life and death have been immortalized in countless books, films, songs, and television shows. He remains a fixture in American popular culture, his story endlessly retold and reinterpreted. From dime novels to Hollywood blockbusters, his image has evolved over time, often blurring the lines between fact and fiction. He has been portrayed as a romantic hero, a ruthless killer, a tragic figure, and everything in between. This enduring fascination speaks to the power of his story, a tale that taps into themes of rebellion, violence, and the allure of the outlaw. Whether romanticized or vilified, Jesse James remains a potent symbol of the American West and a reminder of a turbulent and transformative period in American history. Section 10. Conclusion. Outlaw or anti-hero. Jesse James, the man and the myth, continues to fascinate and divide opinion. Was he a cold-blooded killer or a product of his time, a ruthless outlaw or a folk hero? The answer, like most historical figures, is complex and nuanced. He was a product of the violent and turbulent era in which he lived, shaped by the Civil War and its aftermath. While his exploits have been romanticized, it is crucial to acknowledge the brutality and criminality of his actions. He led a gang that terrorized civilians, stole for personal gain, and killed without hesitation. The Robin Hood myth, while enduring, does not align with historical evidence. Jesse James was a complex figure, capable of both ruthlessness and charisma. He remains an enduring symbol of the American West, a reminder of a time of great upheaval and transformation. His story serves as a cautionary tale about the dangers of romanticizing violence and the enduring legacy of the Civil War.